Hello everyone, welcome back to ProAV. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm joined today by Simon for Blackmagic. How are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
Good, it's a pleasure to have you back.
It's good, you know what, it's good to be back. I was saying, I've missed you guys. So it's nice to be back in the chair.
It's been a few months, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So if anyone hasn't seen the previous streams, we've done, I mean, Simon is the resolve specialist effectively at Blackmagic. I know you've got a slightly different job title now, but you are the resolve specialist in my head.
That's good. That's good.
Mr. Resolve Man. You've joined us before to talk about Blackmagic Cloud, to talk about the updates with new software, updates, all the rest of it. Today, we're going to focus down on Cloud Store Mini.
Yeah.
And the reason that we've put this together is Blackmagic has got a few bundles on at the moment. So if any of you haven't seen those, head over to, in fact, if we cut to your laptop, I think you've got the homepage open, haven't you? So yeah, if you click on Blackmagic bundles there on the right,
If I can find
these are Blackmagic's promos that obviously we sell, which are a really good, massive saving. I mean, that's basically £500 extra off of each one of each one sort of has a grading panel in it, a cloud store, and a few. Each one is slightly different.
Yeah.
But the common denominator in all of them is a cloud store.
Yes.
There is at least one cloud store product in all of them.
Yeah.
And whenever we've been discussing them with customers, we still are coming up against quite a lot misunderstandings about cloud store. I think it's just one of those product categories that is very easy to misunderstand, slightly get the wrong end of the stick, all the rest of it. So on one half, this stream was intended to explain the bundles, but then I thought we'd never really actually properly explained cloud store, so we might as well turn it into something a bit bigger than that.
Yes. No, I agree, because I think a lot of people, if you're coming to Resolve or you're fairly new to Resolve, you have an understanding of like what a micro color panel does that controls the color tools. And as you say, with the cloud stores, we get it a lot. We get it at trade shows where I travel. People go, okay, so what is a cloud store? What's the cloud bit of it? And there's a storage bit of it. And
we get a lot of people just thinking they're a normal NAS.
Yeah.
No, that's a very common one.
And this is the whole thing. And technically, they are a NAS, but they've got little different bits of it. And it's down to us as well. Like, our website sort of explains this, but it doesn't sort of connect the dots. And this is what I want to come and talk about Cloud Store. Just sort of come and talk about some of the logic behind it, why the device is sort of a NAS rather than just like an SSD drive. And kind of where they fit in, because there's a range of Cloud Store products. So they're kind of aimed at different things. So again, we'll explore that as well. Okay. So yeah.
Go over some of those. So as we go through, obviously, if anyone's watched any of these streams before, you know how it works. These are always very, very led by customer questions. So if you have any questions as we go through, I can see Hakon Broderland is already leaving questions in there. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I will bring those up on screen like this as we go, so that we can direct and steer the conversation wherever you guys go. But before I get to that one that Hakon's kindly left us, should we start at the beginning? Where do you want to start with all this?
We'll start at the beginning with the actual range of products, because as you said, we're going to talk about the Mini today, because it is one of the products that, as you can see, I kind of did it on purpose. I've not sort of tarted this one up. This is my cloud store.
It's still got the blue tape on the top.
It's got the blue tape on it.
Simon, it might as well say hands off on it.
It is exactly that, so people don't nick it. But it's the one I carry around everywhere. I take it to trade shows. It goes on set. It is chucked in my rucksack with all my cables. So it's kind of, again, it is, you can see it's got some scuff marks on it as well. It's my own working system. So, we're going to look at the 8 terabyte, but what I thought we'll do is we'll look at the kind of wider range of cloud stores and where they're aimed at. So what I'm going to do, let me just ping up my keynote. So I do have the range in here. So as you can see, this is the full range we have of cloud stores. They go from CloudPod all the way through to the big cloud store, and they're sort of aimed at different things. Now, the CloudPod and the Cloud Dock, they actually don't have any storage with them. The Cloud Pod is designed to have any hard drive that can connect via USB, and it kind of turns it into a NAS. So you plug it in, and the Cloud Pod's got a 10 gig port on. So again, if you're on set or you are working in a studio that's got a sort of a whole network system, you can easily just plug a hard drive in, and then it becomes a kind of 10 gig drive that can go on a network. It's the same with the Cloud Docks. If you shoot on SSD and then you want to do fast file transfer, it's just a dock with a 10 gig port on. So again, it's external storage that sort of turns into network drives. So I think sort of there may be the two anomalies, because we've got Cloud Store Mini, Cloud Store Max, and the big Cloud Store. So
they're the actual hard drives with storage inside.
Yeah, these are the ones with actual storage, and these are actual kind of network drives. So the three models we've got. So the Cloud Store Mini, it comes in an 8 terabyte and a 16 terabyte capacity. It's RAID 0, which is something I will address in a second. And again, I'll show you a picture of the back of one in a second. It's got one 10 gig port and one 1 gig port. So it's got the high speed connection to a machine or a 10 gig network, but then also it's got a 1 gig connection for internet connection. And again, I'll explain why that is when we look at the cloud bit. You got the Cloud Store Maxes. These come in 24, 48 terabyte. Again, they're RAID 0. These have a 100 gig port on, and then 4 10 gig Ethernet ports. And then the final one, the big cloud store, it comes in 20, 80 or 320 terabyte capacity. That is RAID 5, and it's got 10 4 gig ports and 2 1 gig ports on. So these things, as you can see, just from the kind of specs, they're designed to be different things. So the big cloud store, it's designed to be your kind of working on-premises drive. You know, if we were sat here and we're running 4 machines and we're all pulling data off it at the same time, that's what your big cloud store is designed for. Hence the reason it's RAID 5 as well. So it has redundancy built in. So if anything goes wrong, you can just restore the disk via the app and it will rebuild the disk array.
So those 4 10 gig ports on there, there's 4 of them and they're designed to be so that it is its own little local network.
It is.
You put that in the middle of the table, you connect 4 laptops straight into it, and you are all just editing straight away off of that.
Absolutely, as well. And the 1 gig ports as well. So you can also use it as an internet switch as well. So to provide anything. So you can go.
Will it do DCHP?
Yes.
Cool.
So you can go, internet in one. So you've got literally, as you say, kind of one hub, which is your network storage and your internet all running to the machines at the same time. And you'll see it's kind of very easy to configure. The Cloud Store Max is
need one of those in here.
Well, let's see what we can do. The Cloud Store Maxes, these are designed now to be more the kind of on-set multi-channel kind of broadcast. So people may have seen these with our replay system where you're taking in kind of 4 streams of video, encoding real time. So you might have 4 streams of Ultra HD, all real time. You might want to go up to 8K. So that's why it's got a 100 gig port on it. So this is designed to be, kind of if you've got multi-channel on-set storage that you need to be incredibly fast, this is where the Cloud Store Max comes in. And
that 100G is an SFP port, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and is it worth, while we're on this screen, very quickly going over the difference between RAID 0 and RAID 5? So obviously that is a difference between. Yeah,
so obviously RAID 0 is you have drives that are literally kind of striped together. So they give you, we've in essence got, I think it's 4. I think they're 4 terabyte NVMe M2 drives in there that are obviously RAIDed together to give 8 terabytes at, somewhere between 850 and 900 megabytes a second.
So that it's the one where there is no redundancy, it's just fast and it's split across multiple hard drives.
Exactly. And then obviously, RAID 5 is you have a series of drives, but then you have a redundancy drive. So basically, if anything goes wrong with the drive, the redundancy on that drive can kind of rebuild your folder structure.
You lose, I think, up to 1 of any of the hard drives in it and still be able to swap a new drive in and not lose any data.
You can't with these. One of the things I'd say with these is they're sealed units. And again, people go, oh, okay. The reason they're sealed units is because they all use NVMe M2 storage. And while it's incredibly fast, kind of the con of it is it runs quite hot. So this is why our Cloud Store, when we originally bought our Cloud Store, people went, oh, is that the eGPU? Do you remember the eGPU that we did?
No. Yes, I do. The external GPU thing.
The external GPU that connected that sort of, when Apple were developing Apple Silicon, they were finding that, the kind of AMD cards they were using. So we gave them this external GPU that kind of accelerated the performance of Intel Macs. And there's a reason we use the same enclosure because, again, GPUs run extremely hot without any cooling. So the Cloud Stores, they're very clever designs. It's a convection system, so it sucks air in through the bottom and blows it out through the top. And so it can keep the storage very cool. And that's why we did the enclosure on the big Cloud Store. So all those NVMe drives are kept nicely cool.
So you have RAID 5, so one of them can fail and you won't lose any data. But what then has to happen if that does happen? It's got to go back to Blackmagic?
So again, if it's just a drive, and again, the first thing you can do is through the app. So again, I will show you the Cloud Store app where you can go and try and rebuild the drive. It'll kind of format the drive and rebuild it. If it's a full drive failure, then yes, it has to come back to Blackmagic because of the NVMe. They're bonded to chips within the structure. So we did it this way to make, to be sort of ultra high performance. And I have to say I'm failure on them because they're NVMe. There's no spinning discs. There's nothing.
NVMe
there's no platters. As I said, mine here, it gets thrown in bags and suitcases, and it's never missed a beat. So again, they're very robust.
That is a big selling point of them being NVMe, because most of the NASs at this kind of price range would be using spinning discs, even not even SSDs a lot of the time.
That. Yeah, and as you say, it's that thing is, and HHDs are great, but even at 7,200 RPM speeds that most of the time you find in NASs, they're just a bit old school. And again, this is the reason why we looked at cloud stores and went, well, what do we want most out of a storage system? And you go performance, because again, you look at what we're doing with cameras, doing Blackmagic RAW 17K. We're doing immersive. It's 2 8K files.
Yep.
So
not immersive files are massive.
They are huge. Oh. But so therefore, this is the logic that we had, is to go, well, what do we want from storage? Do we want something fast, really fast, and something that's quite easy to use and set up. And that's the idea behind the cloud stores, because ultimately, if you copy like 2 terabytes and you kind of go onto your spinning disk drive, and at 2 terabytes, it goes, I'm going to be 14 hours. You're kind of going, wow. And to give you an idea, we did a cloud store to cloud store copy last week, and I did 15 terabytes in 4 hours.
Okay.
So it's when you start to see those speeds where you go, wow, that's...
And are you not at the point with that kind of level of storage inside where it's the 10G port that's slowing it down? Yeah, it's the 10G that's throttling it,
it's
not the 10G.
Yeah, and hence the reason with the Cloud Store Max, we put the 100G on. So again, if you're doing 4 streams of 8K real time, running through a hyperdeck and encoding, you can't afford the drive to drop out at any point. So again, that's why the Cloud Store Max has got a 100 gig port on it.
Interesting.
So these are the range of cloud stores. And again, I think when the customers that I speak to, people look at the big cloud store and go, oh, okay, I understand that. It's big. It's for kind of, a post house. If you've got an editor, a couple of editors and a colorist and a VFX artist, they can all run off this very fast nearline network storage. Cloud Store Max, people go, okay, for more kind of the live capture environment. So where does the cloud, and it's the Cloud Store Mini where people go, I don't quite get it, because why wouldn't you just use a network drive?
Yeah, why not? Why just use a normal hard drive?
Yeah, why not just use a normal hard drive? And there's said fundamental reasons for this. I mean, one thing I did want to show is, as my keynote crashed. Oh, there we go. Again, I've got an 8 terabyte sat in front of me, so I didn't want to unplug it. So again, for those people watching the stream, if you've not seen one of these before, this is it. They're quite simple. So 8 terabyte Cloud Store Mini on the back. It's just got power. It's got 12 volt power as well if you wanted to run that. It's got a 10 gig port, 1 gig port, Ethernet via USB, which I will come to in a second, and a monitor out. So it's got an HDMI out, so you can actually monitor what's going on the drive. So yeah, it's a kind of, we've got this. So as you're saying, why a network drive? And there's kind of multiple reasons. So what I'm going to do is, well, first of all, actually, no, what I'll do is I'll talk about the speed, just as a kind of proof of speed.
Okay.
Because, as I said, these drives are incredibly fast. So I love them for kind of file transfer. So anybody brings like a CFast card or one of our media docs, I can pull things onto this drive and the speed is great. Even when you couple it with cameras. So we did a shoot with AMD this year. We did the Global Entertainment Awards in Portugal, and they had a mixture of our Pixis and our Ursa Cine 12K, and the Ursa Cine 12K's got a 10 gig port on the back. And we sort of loaned them a cloud store. And they very much had a workflow where they would shoot a lot of content. They were shooting 8K B-RAW, stop the recording, and then kind of maybe reset the camera and then carry on recording. And then eventually they'd come back with one of the media drives and transfer it. And we were sort of going, well, the editor's sitting here waiting at the moment. Well, why is the editor waiting? And they were like, what do you mean? I said, well, if you plug the camera in via the 10 gig port on the Cine 12K into your cloud store, you can pull the files off, and the Cloud Store and the storage on the camera is quick enough to shoot 8K B-RAW and pull files off at the same time. And the Cloud Store, again, because it can basically has an incredibly fast write speed, it was just pulling. So the guy, I mean, we took a bit of a flyer with this because like, will this work? And Gregoire, my colleague, and I went, yeah, we'll give this a go. And they were amazed to go, we're pulling files off the camera over a 10 gig network while the camera's shooting. So again, it's just that whole idea, you know, the whole idea of this is to speed up your workflow. You know, at Blackmagic, we're all about making things easier for the end user. So yeah, the speed is the most important thing. And again, just to prove this, so this is just a project in Resolve. So all my media is sitting on the network drive. It's sitting on my Cloud Store. So again, to prove I'm not cheating anything with this, this is a 6K B-RAW file. That is a 6K B-RAW file, and that's an 8K B-RAW file. So if I now play this back in Resolve, the drive is quick enough to read all those 3 files back at the same time and give me real-time playback. This is not a Resolve setting because it's having to, yes, all right, I've got a 1080p timeline, but Resolve is having to read those files off the drive. So it's doing multiple layers of like 6K and 8K real time. And that's when you find, again, if I try and do this off a spinning disk or even an SSD, this is where you'll start to see kind of drop frames just jump in. And especially, you know, when you're doing things like client reviews, that's the last thing that you want. So that was just kind of a bit of kind of proofing in Resolve about, you know, the speed of the drive. But yeah, the idea of the Cloud Store Mini, the reason why it's RAID 0 is because it's designed to be your kind of working nearline storage, kind of like you would an SSD. But again, it has the advantage of speed, but also there's other things you can do with a network drive that you can't do with a normal drive. So the Ethernet port is a really interesting thing. So, I mean, I don't know how people have had this before, but I've had this where somebody hands me a CFast card and you plug it into your computer and then you pull it off onto the SSD. So you get it copying over. And then what happens is somebody goes, oh, could I take a look at, you know, scene 1, take 8 or whatever? And you can kind of go, well, you can kind of do it on the CFast card, but we don't want to do anything at the moment because, again, if you're doing like a checksum, for example, you just want to leave that drive copying. So normally what you have to do is wait till the files are copied onto the SSD, hand it to somebody else, and then they take it away with them. The Ethernet port on the 8 terabyte Cloud Store is also a connection. It's a 5 gigabit per second USB-C connection.
You're talking about the USB, the Ethernet over USB.
Yeah, the Ethernet over USB port. So
gotcha.
The USB port on the back, you just need a USB-C cable. So quite easily, you can get a second user to come in, plug in, and they can see the same files being pulled onto the drive.
Right, so you've got your laptop connected to that over the 10G network.
Yep.
You've got a card reader plugged into your laptop, copying across files onto the Cloud Store.
Yeah.
And then I could walk along with my laptop, plug the USB into the Cloud Store directly. Yeah. And be looking at any files that are on there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the thing that I love about that, because one of the things that kind of scared me is, you know, Carl, I'm a post guy. I was an editor and a VFX artist and a colorist. When we said, oh, we're doing network drives, and somebody went, oh, you're going to have to learn about networking, I was like, oh, I'm totally out of my depth here. But again, the beauty of these things, it's the ease of the setup as well. Because normally when people look at NASs, they kind of go, oh, there's a complex setup process. And I'll show you the setup process. But I love this fact that, yeah, you can have anybody come in, just plug a USB-C in and go, right, I'm going to take these files as well. And so that's something that you can't do. So this is why it's RAID 0. It's designed to be kind of this fast nearline storage. It's used by DITs a lot. It's used a lot in dailies for that exact reason. But again, yeah, you know, if you're on set or if you're for example, as a lot of people do, you might be in a hotel room and you just want somebody to plug in. You go, well, there's no Ethernet switch or anything, but you've got Ethernet via USB and you can just run 2 machines off it at the same time. And again, because of the speed of the drive, you don't really notice a huge drop in performance when there's 2 of you working from it.
So that's the one that is included in bundles.
Yes.
So what is the intended purpose of it in the bundles, which are kind of a upgrade your edit suite kind of style bundle?
Yeah. So again, it's the design is obviously with the bundle. They're bundled. What we wanted to give people is a solution. So we understand people may have these bits of kit already, but what we want to do, the portable bundle is exactly that. If you are out in the field and, you do a lot of your own shooting and you then, you might have to edit in a hotel room, or you're editing on the go, or, you might be hunched over a little desk in a production suite. You want things that are going to be portable and easy to use. So the micro color panel, the speed editor, they connect via Bluetooth. So again, if you kind of go, I forgot a USB-C cable, you can connect. So again, if you're doing dailies, if you pull files off a camera, the first thing you will need to do is transfer them really quickly. That's why you got a Cloud Store. You can then Bluetooth your micro studio panel in, and then you can simply apply LUTs, you can grade, and you can do this in a really small footprint. It's the same with the speed editor. If you've got, again, you imagine, you've shot, like we are here, say you've shot a podcast and you've got 3 angles, you need to drop them in to resolve really quickly. You're doing a multicam, you don't have an ISO recording, but you've got an hour of, say, Ultra HD material. You want as fast a transfer onto your drive as possible. The speed editor works seamlessly with the cut page, so you can start to kind of build your multicam. And, we have people doing this on aeroplanes but again, sort of, we wanted to give it as the portable solution. So if you're out and about and you need everything to go in a rucksack, so you need grading control, edit control, reliable, fast storage, and then also monitoring. It comes with an Ultra Studio Mini Monitor 3G, because as you know, I'm all about monitoring, getting that correct EOTF, so getting that exact transfer function from your camera to your display, and just having one of those. And I would say to people is, view it as how the customer's going to view it. So when you're looking at your rushes in Resolve, it's great, but it's a GPU interpretation of what the actual files look like. So even if you're in a hotel room, just get an Ultra Studio Mini Monitor 3G. Get the HDMI, plug it into the hotel TV, and it'll give you an idea of what it's going to look like on a kind of standard TV.
Yeah.
So,
we see a lot of people using their on-set monitors, bringing those back, plugging in your Atmos or your video assist, or your small HD monitor from the shoot or whatever OC, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So again, the portable bundle was that. It was to give you all these things, and they will literally all go in the back of a rucksack, and you've got a full solution. And again, this is why with the Cloud Store, especially being a network drive, there's to get a network drive, even that's a spinning disk, you're sort of talking something twice the footprint and twice the weight.
Oh, absolutely.
So, that's the idea behind the portable one. The moving up from that.
But in terms of actually creating a NAS where several editors can do it, you're relatively limited with the Mini, right? Because of the amount of ports on the back. You are limited by the amount
Unless
you've got a separate switch.
But again, we've done that before. If you get a little separate 10 gig switch, again, depending on the material you're using, I would say is, my Resolve project that I showed you there, if you had all 4 editors trying to run those clips at the same time from an 8 terabyte, it is going to struggle. But again, as you say, if there's a couple of you, 3 or 4 of you, you can plug Cloud Store Mini into a 10 gig switch. And if you're using, say, Ultra HD ProRes files, or even B-RAW, if using Ultra HB or even HD B-RAW, this drive is going to be quick enough to have multiple users running at the same time. So again, if you are out and about, just get yourself a little small 10 gig switch.
I'm thinking about events work, like multiple editors might be set up in a office somewhere while a conference is going or whatever, and there's several conferences in several rooms all being filmed at the same time. And they just need to run up, dump it off to the editors and run back, and there's several of them all accessing the files, that kind of thing.
And again, that is done regularly, because again, is the big Cloud Store is great, but again, it's it's kind of a big unit, and it's heavy. And again, the more storage you put in it, the heavier it gets. So yeah, as you say, for a lot of the venue stuff, a lot of, the corporate stuff where you're, as you say, like we did, you're turning stuff around in like 3 or 4 hours. As you say, they had several of these where, had one on a desk on a switch. And as you say, all the camera content got pulled to it. But then, as you say, there's an editor and a colorist working from the same drive at the same time.
Very cool. Is that a good point to pause for questions? Just because we've got quite a lot. They're getting quite technical. I think a lot of these people who exist in Cloud Store, maybe networking kind of questions. But let's go through and let's see what we can answer. Okay, the first one, I guess, is on future products. But Cloud Store Max from Markin says, will there be a bigger option than 48 terabytes in 1U or 2U? Maybe 200 terabyte or 500 terabyte?
Truthfully, as always I say this, I don't know. The one thing I'd say, Blackmagic, I think we're good at listening to customer feedback. A lot of our products, said I deal a lot with Post, and a lot of our products are born out of customer requirements. And this is not the first time I've heard this request that people go, I love the Cloud Store Max, but it's only 48 terabytes. As you say, I need 200.
And you do 320 or something in the other one.
Would you do it with that? I think if the demand is there and, we having customers' feedback, I'd never say never. I'm saying I don't know. But again, if customer requirement is there, it's normally something we explore.
I imagine it would end up being 2U for a bit of cooling.
Yeah, I think so, for the cooling.
Because you wouldn't have that fan, like the trash can design, if you like, from the Apple MacBooks.
So again, with the Cloud Store Maxes, they blow air in out through one side and out through the other because they're designed to be rack mounted. But as you say, I think if you're getting big, you'd kind of look at going, it might have to be 2RU.
Yeah, that makes sense. Michael says, I bought a Cloud Dock 4, hoping to use my old SSDs in a RAID configuration, but it's impossible. That would be nice to implement. Okay. So I guess, having 2 SSDs slotted into it, but treating them as one. Hard drive.
Okay.
It's not the intended use of Cloud Dock 4, though, is it?
It's not the intended use, but again, it's something that I have heard from customers because because we do a 2 dock and a 4 dock. People have said can I put 4 SSDs together and kind of configure my own RAID? Again, it's we're always looking for feedback. So.
And then you would get that redundancy where you can pull them out. Gray Vitone says, is there port aggregation on Cloud Store? Testing you now.
I'm testing me now. No. It is something that is in development. When we announced the initial Cloud Store, it was announced that it was going to have port aggregation. So, but it is something that we are still developing at the moment. We're trying to figure out.
I mean, I guess for the sort of higher end networking users, is it more common to have a properly network managed switch, which something like this connects to and all the other computers connect to as the central would that get around things like that? I mean, I am not a networking guy.
I'm not a networking guy. As you said, I'm not sure if it would. What we're finding with the big cloud stores, again, if you've got a fairly small room, they are all just going straight into the Cloud Store because obviously you're kind of maxed out at the 10 gig connection. I don't know if they're sort of having the network switch would get around that. But again, you're only going to work. You said what you can do because of the speed of the drives, you can max out all 10 gig ports. There's just they're not concatenated is the best way of putting it.
Gotcha. He also asks, can you sync the data from one cloud store to another or from a big one to a cloud pod over the internet? So basically have 2 of them in maybe 2 different offices which are in sync with the same data from both of them.
So we will come on to this.
Yes.
Because there is an element where you go...
you might have a slide on that.
Yeah. Well, we could try and show you. But
well, I think let's because yes, that's a hugely important part of the cloud. That's the whole cloud part of the cloud
Yes.
store. So let's try and get to that in a minute. Let's go through the other ones. Hakon says, does the underlying RAID system have checksum bit drop protection like ZFS has? I understand the checksum bit. I don't, to be honest, understand bit drop protection or ZFS.
That is homework for me. That is something I can find out, and again, that's something I can respond to. Truthfully, that I don't know.
If you leave that in the comment section underneath the when the live stream gets turned into a video, normal comments like YouTube comments will come up. If you put any more technical questions that we're not able to answer right now down there, we will go away, try and find the right answers for that and reply to the comment down below. He also says RAID is not a backup. How is the workflow for keeping a backup, syncing between other cloud store units, cloud automatic resync to third-party NASes? Again, that's going to be the slide that we'll come on to.
We'll.
Marcin says we have 2 of those 48 terabyte store maxes. Will there be an option to manage users with a network domain? Now we have to add and remove manually. And Gravertone says +1 for the above question.
Okay, so this came in yesterday.
What, as a feature?
Yes, so
That's quick work.
we're good at this.
There we go.
So we had a feature
Minus
land.
1 day response time.
We had a feature land yesterday. So again, I'll show you the Cloud Store setup. So you could administer users manually in a Cloud Store setup. Now, again, the Cloud Stores are a straightforward Samba connection. This is why I like them, because they are a straightforward Samba handshake. But what we introduced yesterday is NFS connection. So if people are using, is it Kerberos, the Kerberos server, you can basically admin a Cloud Store onto your network. So if you've got a Kerberos server, normally what you'd have to do is when you put one of a Cloud Store on the network, you'd have to kind of sign into it to get on the network. But how it connects via NFS, the Kerberos server can go, okay, I can authenticate this automatically and put it on the network. So this is something I've yet to try this. We introduced this yesterday. So again,
I think you can be forgiven for not having tried it yet.
Yes, not having tried that. Yeah,
I think that's fair enough.
I was at the BBC yesterday. I was kind of, it just landed on my doorstep. So again, the Cloud Store, again, as Carl, you know, as a company, we're Blackmagic, we're always in development. And again, what we're looking at is what people want from this. So again, this is sort of a first step of people being able to administer through, you know, different servers, third-party options, because we realize, you know, not everybody's just going to use a Cloud Store. It's going to go onto a wider network. So yeah, this is something that is coming in time. But having said that, if you've got Kerberos servers, you can kind of have certificate authentication. So if somebody plugs a Cloud Store in, it'll automatically ping it. If they plug a Cloud Store in that isn't registered, it just sits there and you have to authenticate it manually.
Gotcha.
And it can be, I'm not the world's expert on that sort of management.
Sounds cool. I'm not going to pronounce the name because I'm going to get that wrong. It would be sick if you could store on device and have a remote editor be able to pull from that device without also having to have a storage subscription from Blackmagic Cloud.
Okay, so what you'd want is kind of remote access.
Yeah, so I guess I've got a Cloud Store here, editing as normal, but then Ben's going to go work from home, and for him to just be able to log on to the Cloud Store. But that's what Blackmagic Cloud's for. Yeah,
it is. It
says without also having to have a storage subscription from Blackmagic Cloud. What's the...
Yeah, so basically it's kind of a remote access to a Cloud Store, storage. And then you to pull the data off. But I have to say is you can do that. However, there's always going to be the consideration of the reason why we always have something in the cloud. And again, I'll show this because we've got support for Dropbox, Amazon S3, Wasabi storage, having something in the cloud, because pulling something from that drive just straight onto your system without any specialist networking it'll be incredibly slow. You know, Soho. So, you know, most people in Soho use things like SohoNet, dark fiber, so they can go into a server and go, right, pull a terabyte off that. But, you know, darknet in Soho is crazy fast, and they pay a premium for it. So I understand what people are saying. Yes, it would be good to remote in it, and you could do it. You know, people do that via VPN, so you can VPN into somebody's machine. But it's kind of, if you're copying the media, where's it going?
Yeah,
it's kind of got to go
You'd get
up
access
and down
to it, but it would
somewhere.
be too slow to actually do anything. You'd be leaving it overnight to do a relatively small file transfer. Wouldn't be playing back.
Yes,
that
exactly.
kind of stuff over the internet.
And as you say, and this is where the cloud...
When you could just upload it to the cloud storage account and then have a relatively fast download from that onto any machine in order to edit it.
And again,
we do that all the time now.
Yeah, and that's it. It's and the cloud store now is for storage. 500 gig is £6.99 a month. Yeah. So, and again, only what we'll say is only one person's got to pay that. So again, if you are pulling your files from somebody else's cloud store, can you not say to that person, going, could you pay the cloud subscription? And then, you've got 500 gig up and down. Yeah. And as we say, is we support Amazon S3. And again, the thing about the cloud store is it's arguably one of the easiest ways of syncing Amazon S3 cloud storage to an actual network storage device. It's a very straightforward process compared to other NAS systems.
And I guess if you have a remote editor that consistently works with you quite often, you would just both have a cloud store.
Absolutely.
And keep them in sync. That's the intended use.
That's the intended use. And as I said, there's we'll explore this. There are other things as well. But as you say, that is the intended use, because basically if you've got a folder structure on your cloud store, that can be mirrored in the cloud and then mirrored onto any of your other cloud stores. So basically you've got a folder structure that is identical all over the world, and therefore you don't have files going offline. Everything's just there ready to go. But again, we'll explore some of the cloud syncing.
Graviton has just said Dockers. I don't understand what that means. Do you know what that means?
No. Dockers? No.
If you elaborate a little bit, great, and we'll see if we can answer that for you. But let's get on to those next slides.
Okay, so I was saying, I think, I've talked through kind of a little bit about, why we have a network drive. And again, the thing for me is when we introduced network drives, I was like, oh God, network drives. But the great thing about Cloud Store, it has this little setup. Let me just hide Resolve a second. Hide my keynote too. Hide.
While you're doing that, we've just had a feature product request come in, which I'll just register for prosperity. This is Martin, who said he also has two of those 48 terabyte store maxes. Says, please make a RAID 5 500 terabyte 2 rack unit with an SFP 100 gigabytes port. Thank you for your answers.
Okay, no worries. Yeah.
Product request.
We can take all that back. I know the product lead in Australia, and I will take this feedback back to him. So the great thing said about the Cloud Store setup is if you simply plug it in via. I'm connected via 10 gig at the moment. I've got a little Sonnet chassis at the moment, so to get it into my laptop. But it's a very, very easy setup. So it's just an app, and then you can go into it from here. And
that's quite an important part, actually. So you because you're on a MacBook, it's got an Ethernet port, but not a 10 gig Ethernet port. So you need a little Sonnet box. I've been trying to look actually for hubs that have 10 gig ports on them, as well as a variety of other stuff, and they're few and far between. They're starting to exist now, but they're quite few and far between. So currently on a MacBook, that's probably the best option, having a separate device to do it, like that's on its solo, or just be on. Is it the Mac Studios that have the 10 gig port? I think so. The Mac Mini doesn't.
Yeah, so it's the Mac Studios, and obviously the Mac Pros do as well.
Yes.
So as you say, I'm using a Sonnet now. Admittedly, we do another bit of kit that is proving very, very useful. We do the media player. So we do media player. So if you, for example, you want your laptop to be part of a live stream, so you want to play a graphic off your laptop, you can do this via the media player. was going to say, yeah.
Yes, that's one of the new ones, isn't it?
It's one of the new ones.
I don't know anything about that product, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the thing. We announced it, and it had a kind of a very quiet release. And now even I'm being tested on. Is it straight? What would it be? Is it under capture and playback? Does it come under? Here we go. Yeah, the Media Player 10G. So this is sort of a new box that we've got. So.
This was primarily designed for replay, right? So that you could interface with replay stuff really easily.
Yes. So you could literally play literally off your laptop. So, for example, if you've got a motion graphic or you can see the replay system there, you could kind of use your laptop as like an ATEM input and you could play off that. But it's a very, very useful device as well because, again, you can extend your desktop onto an output screen. It's got Thunderbolt. It's got a 10 gig port as well on it. So if you coupled one of these with a Cloud Store Mini, that becomes your converter because you plug it in via Thunderbolt. You could do the Cloud Store Mini via the 10G connection. You've got key and fill on there. So again, it's one of these boxes that does multiple things. You can even use it as an output device. So instead of having an Ultra Studio, you could actually use this as an output for Resolve and monitoring into a system. So yeah, you can create graphics tools and you can create them in Fusion and play them out from your laptop through the media player.
Do you know if on the HDMI monitor out, you can have that as just a normal computer monitor going out, or is that like the Ultra Studio where it is a dedicated Resolve like?
I think you can have it. Again, you test me here. I think you can have it as your laptop out as well. In fact, I'm sure you can because it was designed to be a media player. So you could have an extended desktop. So you can actually put your laptop as an output kind of into an ATEM stream. So
let's play with one of those.
Yeah, this is, again, I've not really had to play with one. Because it was one of these products that we announced, and it was a product that we announced, and it's kind of as you said, it was designed to be kind of done sort of as as you say an I/O device for replay, but actually it's got multiple uses. The media player is it can act as a hub for your cloud storage as well. Going back, that's how I'm connected at the moment. I don't have one of these, but I've got a Sonnet Thunderbolt to 10 gig adapter. Because again, Thunderbolt 3 that I'm on here can do 40 gigabits per second. So it's
easily quick enough. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, look, we can go through the settings. And again, I'm not going to dive into a load of settings. The setup is, as you can say, is quite straightforward. You can set the date and time. You can do DHCP, or you can give it a static IP address.
Do you have any recommendation there either way?
No. Again, if there's a couple of you on the system, DHCP is fine.
Yeah.
I would say is if you're putting it onto a switch where you might have other users coming into the switch, actually using the static IP would be better. Again, the NFS. I could enable it. I'm not going to do that because I don't know what it's going to do. And again, this is again why we had it as a network drive. Yeah, it's designed to be kind of on-set or nearline storage for when you're working on your laptop. But again, if you think with SSDs, you've got sort of no security. Anybody can pick up an SSD and copy it. The great thing about a network is I can add security in here. Oh, it's grayed out. Can I administer? Oh, I don't know why that is grayed out at the moment. Sorry, I need to connect via USB. I'll tell you what. Can I connect via USB?
The phone?
Yes, I will do. I'll tell you what, I've got this backup drive connected at the moment. So let me just unplug and replug in. That should get me that. So let me just go back into it. Now it should allow me to do it. There we go. So again you can see if you want remote Kerberos tickets, this is a new thing that's in there. But it again is if you wanted to administer this. So again, you're maybe a DIT or you're on shoot and you're pulling rushes onto a drive and you literally just want to give permission to one other user. You can add a user in here. You can generate a key or manually add a user. And again, you've got permissions in here, so you can do read and write, just read. So you can give people access. And again, if people don't have access to it, they'll be asked when you plug the drive in to connect to the network. If they don't have the password, it just doesn't let them in. So again, this is the other thing we kind of looked at is, one of the most valuable thing about any shoot is the rushes. It's what you get off the camera. So again, the reason why we had a network drive, you've got that kind of built-in security. So you might not have people kind of just sniffing around. And
I'm just going to subtly plug in a cable here and take stuff.
Do this, or we don't like that shot, and somebody deletes it, and again you kind of go, whoa, hang on. So again, that's again why we looked at a small footprint for a network drive, because you've got this built-in security as well. Now, the other thing that I will click on now is the cloud sync, because this is the whole question. People go, why is it called a cloud? Because at the moment, all you've done is explain
NAS stuff.
A NAS stuff. It's a Samba fast network drive. Yeah. Why is it called
it's a smaller
cloud?
NAS based around NVMe. That's all. That's everything we've talked about so far.
That is. So people are going, why is it called a cloud then? And this is the bit, because it's got cloud syncing built into it. So you can see at the moment, we also support Wasabi as well, or I think that's still in development, but as you can see, we've got a sync to Blackmagic Cloud, Amazon S3, or Dropbox.
Yeah.
So the idea behind this is, yes, how our cloud works, how our cloud system works is it's designed to be seamlessly share media between Resolve systems, basically. That was the original idea behind it. So I think if people watched our James and my demo that we did before, you can add a file to Resolve. If it's a project in the cloud, it'll encode that media to a proxy, upload it to a cloud, and then when somebody opens the Resolve project, it downloads it the other side.
And that is, since we did that stream, become a really important part of our workflow. Whenever we have to be working from home, we do that. We actually use it in here as well. So if we're shooting B-roll, you can just boot it up on either of the laptop and just be watching proxies and playing it back on the timeline while somebody sat there editing it, and the other ones are filming B-roll using the timeline and the piece to camera as reference and using the edit as reference while they're filming, which is great. So that makes perfect sense. But
and this is being used. So again, unfortunately, I can't tell you the name of the film. There was our 17K has been used on a film shoot in Romania. So it's a horror film. And because obviously all our cameras now, they have cloud sync built in as well. So when you shoot on, say, the 17K, you can shoot B-RAW and it shoots a proxy file side by side with the B-RAW. Mm-hmm. And if the camera's connected to the cloud, it just uploads the proxy. If you've got live sync turned on, the proxy will be a growing file in the cloud. So you can open Resolve, open that project, and you can literally see the file arrive. And they were bowled over with that workflow. So again, they were used to a more traditional workflow where you shoot, then get the mag off the camera, do a transfer onto your local storage system. Then somebody goes, right, I'm going to back that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to generate some proxies, and then we're going to send those back to London where people are viewing. When we were going, where they were literally had a Resolve open, and the proxies were dropping in, and they were kind of going, this is like, they only shot this 5 minutes ago, and we've got a proxy file that producers who are financing this back in London can sit there and go, oh, I like that. So again, it's, like everything that we do at Blackmagic, we just design for workflows that are quick, easy, save you time, save you those laborious processes. And as you said, just the speed of which you can do things now. So you're kind of going, people will probably be going, well, if you got results, so if you shoot on a camera, say, that goes up to the cloud, and if somebody opens Resolve, you open up DaVinci Resolve, and the file appears. It magically downloads to your system. You can choose where that goes. It doesn't have to be a cloud store, can be any drive you like. So why do you need one of those? Well, all the cloud store syncing, all the media cloud store syncing, using it with just Blackmagic Cloud, you have to have Resolve open to get any of the files. And people may not want that.
Because we get that a lot where, like, okay, we want to do that. I've opened it up. Oh, I've now got to download. We're already halfway through a project, or we're just on the tail end of it. Yeah. And I've now got to download everything, all the proxies before I can do it.
Exactly. And these are the things. And again, is we've had it. So I've spoken to IBC, especially. I spoke to quite a few people who are kind of doing post work for influencers. Now, some influencers are so big, it's not just a quick shoot. They've got whole teams of people around them. And I met a few people who were saying, you know, I've got influencers shooting on a mixture of phones, but a lot of the time on mobile phones. And they were saying is, you know, them getting the media to me is a bit of a hassle because, you know, they'll record it on an iPhone and then they'll kind of go, oh, well, here's the video, here's some photos. And then they might go, oh, we'll share it through Dropbox, but then they miss a folder. So, you know, he's saying they're coming back to me going, oh, I had this great shot of what Ben and I were talking about earlier, you know, car videos. You know, you go, oh, where's the shot of this? And you go, oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't upload it. So that's, as you say, that's always... To him, that was a big problem. And he said, I need a solution where people are using things like the Blackmagic phone app. They're just shooting. And I want a box where all the files are just downloading to folders. So it can sit in the corner of a room, be on 24 hours a day, and media just drops onto it. And this is where the cloud sync comes in.
Because then you plug your computer in, boot up Resolve, and it's all just instantly there. Yeah. As opposed to what we are currently doing. You go, okay, cool. That'd be really useful if that was remote. Fine, let's get the laptop. Okay, I've now got to wait for 40 minutes or whatever while it all downloads.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. So this is, as you say, is the cloud is the bit in between. So the clouds, this is why it's cloud, a cloud store, is it adds that extra element that you can't do with Blackmagic Cloud. It gives you, the ability to sync to Blackmagic Cloud. And as you say, instead of kind of going, oh, I've got to open this project again, and you can try and relink the files. And again, you can relink the files, but as you say, quite often people are like open Resolve, go, oh, I've got to download the proxies again. Or whereas just a lot of people just want the ability to go, right, folder, sync media to the folder, sync folder to Cloud Store. This is how also you sync cloud stores from around the world. Because what you can do is set up a sync folder. And then, again, I'll tell you what, instead of me doing this, why don't I show you? I'll show you. So you can see in here, it's saying at the moment, I've been signed out to Blackmagic Cloud. So I need to sign in to Blackmagic Cloud. Again, for those of you who don't have a cloud account, you can sign in on every page on the Blackmagic website. You can see it says login just here, and you can create an account for free. And literally, we just, again, your name, your email address, that's all you need to register. Once you sign into a cloud account, it'll sort of look something pretty much like this. I've got multiple profiles, but when I open it up, it'll look something like this. So you've got things like project server, license manager, cloud storage, presentations, organizations, account settings. So again, we could talk about these at length.
Yeah, we have covered all of this. Let's just mention that again. For people that might not have seen that stream, is we've done a whole stream diving into the Blackmagic Cloud. Yeah, bit, so it's definitely worth watching. I'll put a link to it in the comments.
So, as you can see in here, I have some cloud storage in here. So if I go into cloud storage, so if I take a look at the cloud storage in, there we go. In here, you can see I have a number of project libraries. So this is storage that has been used for DaVinci Resolve projects. So this is storage that's been used when I've had a DaVinci Resolve project in the cloud. I add the media. That media that gets added to the Resolve project gets uploaded. But also what I've got cloud folders as well. And think of these simply as, they're just simply folders in the cloud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create Cloud Folder, and I will call this ProAV PM. So there we go. I'm just going to create a cloud folder. And I've got lots of cloud folders in here, but there we go. So as you can see, at the moment, the folder is empty. So what I can actually do now on my Cloud Store, I can sign into the same cloud account. So what I'm going to do, oops, maybe not in capitals. You can now all see my email address.
Right. Ben has very cleverly cut away. So we're actually just looking at you doing some masterful typing and concentration on your face.
Oh yeah, I have a tendency to do that. I stick my tongue out as well. I don't look great.
Thinking face.
Yeah, my thinking face. Like, So when you bring up a sync location, you can see here it's got something that says, okay, what do you want to give the sync location? And I'll just call it. I'll just call this cloud demo. It's a syncing. So the sync location, it says, right, I want you to sync a Cloud Store, a folder on your Cloud Store to a folder in the cloud. So you can see in here, it says, which folder on your Cloud Store Mini do you want to sync? Now, I'll set up an empty one because if I do my whole Cloud Store, it'll do everything. So admittedly,
the
to point that out,
down.
you can do, you go, have 7.5 terabytes uploaded. So again, is you can see this. You can do an entire Cloud Store. You can do absolutely everything, or you can do individual folders.
So I think you've just answered my question, but the question I was sitting there thinking I'm going to try and wangle in.
Yeah.
Was, say I run a production company, I've got a bigger Cloud Store sitting there, but I'm hiring a remote editor to help on every now and again when I need it. So I purchase them a Cloud Store Mini that's 8 terabytes, whereas my one's a 30 terabyte one. How do I control, which projects end up on his Cloud Store with 8 terabytes worth of storage? Because quite clearly it can't be a mirror of my entire one over there, because it would also mean he'd get access to a load of projects that I don't necessarily need him to have access to or want him to have access to.
Yes.
And I guess this is how, right?
This is how, because you can create individual, and you can have multiple syncs over multiple folders. You just add additional syncs. Yeah. So again, what I'm going to do here is just so I don't accidentally upload.
So would this be the setting on their, in that example, on their Cloud Store, they would log on and say, I need access to this, or is this something that I can do from the production studio saying, give that remote access these ones?
Yes. So this is something that you're doing from your production suite. Your main storage is here, and you're saying to somebody else, right, I'm going to upload this folder. Yeah. And again, they can then, we'll show the syncing. But you do it because you've got the storage here. You set the sync up. Yeah. Gotcha. So
that's the right way around, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. So again, if I do this, and again, I've got this. I said this is my drive. So new folder, and I'll call this. Let's call it ProAV demo. So I can set this to go. I am syncing the folder from my Cloud Store to which Blackmagic Cloud. And if I look at my cloud folders, I'm hoping somewhere in here, I've got the ProAV PM. So I'm just going to set that. So basically, I've got the folder on my cloud storage synced to the folder in the cloud.
Yeah. And so then their one gets set to be a mirror of everything that is in that ProAV PM folder.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and again, you can have syncing directions. So, for example, if you had somebody else with a Cloud Store somewhere else in the world, and they added something to the folder on their system, because again, they would do a sync like this. They would choose the folder on their, or the folder that they wanted to download the content to. Doesn't have to be a Cloud Store. Well, actually, no, in this case, yes, sorry, it does. So they would choose the folder or the location on their Cloud Store and the folder from Blackmagic Cloud. Yeah. So then you could choose to sync both ways. So for example, if they added something to the folder on their Cloud Store, it would upload to the cloud and download to your Cloud Store. Yeah. So that's how you get the perfect mirror.
Working in both ways.
If you wanted to do, just one to the other, so you want to do Cloud Store Mini to Blackmagic Cloud, so only you're doing the syncing, you choose that option. and Blackmagic Cloud to Cloud Store Mini. So you can.
So I guess that top one would be useful if I've got one at a location somewhere where I don't need footage. This is just an offload device. This is just something to upload stuff to the cloud, and
Yes.
I'm not going to access anything from it. I'm just using it as a way to upload things.
Yeah.
And I guess the other really important part of all of this is the cloud storage thing. So I guess, say using that example again, production company, remote editor, 8 terabytes of storage on their Cloud Store Mini, whereas I've got a bigger one with 30 terabytes. I guess I will also have to have an 8 terabyte cloud storage allowance in order to have enough space on there to sync everything up and sync everything back down again.
Yes. So, but again, it's whether you have, but also as well, just want to show you. So I'll do a two-way sync. I will do a two-way sync for now. So as you can see in here also as well, you've got to sync proxies and originals and sync proxies only.
Yeah.
So again, if you've got 8 terabytes, but you've got a load of raw material and you've generated proxies, the sync is smart enough to go, just sync proxies only, and it'll just sync the proxies to the cloud. Yeah. So again, if you're sending a lot of material, what you could do is just generate really low res proxies. Because again, if you're working with an editor, he doesn't need the full raw files.
And we found that for editing, or for that example I gave of playback while filming and using it as a reference, the proxies are such good quality.
Yeah.
I did try and do grading on them once, and that doesn't work. That fell apart pretty quick.
As you say, you can get an idea.
I think you can choose quality of proxies, can't you? And
you can choose the quality of proxies.
I've had mine set to, but it wasn't working.
Again, you can do that in Resolve, or I think I've got it on here just to show you. Something that is also included in Resolve, in the Resolve installer, we have the proxy generator as well. So again, this is a manual process. So again, you don't have to have DaVinci Resolve open to generate proxy files. This is the proxy generator that can just stand alone. I could add some storage in here. I'm probably not going to do my whole 8 terabyte cloud store. But what shall I pick? I've got, where are my new camera files in here? Oh, here we go. I could do new camera files. It opens that up. I'm not doing a new file. Sorry, I just want to open that. So as you can see, it puts the new camera files in, and then I can choose which quality I use. So I've got 1080p, H.264, 265, or ProRes. Just to point that out as well, it's ProRes proxy. Even though it says ProRes 42, it actually generates a ProRes proxy file just to make it lightweight. Okay. But you've still got a 10-bit 422 1080p file in there. So again, you've got a range, and it's a watch folder as well. So again, if you kind of keep adding your camera rushes, if you keep the proxy generator running, it'll just treat this as a watch folder and just generate the proxies.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So 2 questions have come to mind. One on that, when example of just somebody sitting at home, that's syncing everything. Does that really need to be connected over the 10G port if it's just a point-to-point and you're not actually doing any of the NAS stuff? You're just using this remote cloud syncing stuff side of the product.
Yeah.
Can you just be over the USB-C?
You can, yes. So you'd need the internet connection. So I've got a 1 gig Ethernet port plugged in.
Yes.
But also you can share, on your Mac, you can share the Wi-Fi. So if you plug it in over the USB Ethernet over USB-C, you can share your network from your Mac with it as well.
That makes sense.
We've honed that. It can sometimes be. I always recommend having just like a 1 gig.
Even if it's like a power line one or something like that.
Yeah, even if it's a power line one, as long as you can get an internet connection through it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't need the 10 gig for that. It can just have 1 gig sit on a desk and do all the syncing for you. It's sort of a click. Again, the idea is sort of a click and forget. And so literally that is about it, because...
Then the other question I had, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just thinking of them as I go. The different options there. Doing it via Blackmagic, which is what you just showed us, the Blackmagic Cloud.
Yeah.
Doing it via Amazon Web Services, doing it by Dropbox.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of quality difference between those? Is there, is it just choose your choose your flavor, or is
it's choose your flavor, because again you're just using that cloud storage, whatever you prefer.
All kind of works in the same way.
It all kind of works in the same way,
and you get that option to upload a folder and all that kind of stuff. With doing it via Dropbox or
by Amazon as well. It's sort of pick your flavor of cloud that we support, and it works in the same way. You can go sync to this, sync to that.
Makes sense. That was the other question I had. The cloud pod, which is designed to have any existing hard drive solution to add on to all of this, which I guess is going to be quite a common one for that example of a remote editor or whatever. Can that interface with RAID drives, which are quite common but obviously need some sort of I've forgotten the word. I've completely blanked on the word. Driver on the computer in order to recognize that it's a RAID drive and a RAID enclosure. Does that break? That would break, right?
I think it does, because you need the driver for it to recognize. So there's a USB-C port on the pod,
which is what you're meant to do. You're meant to plug in an SSD or whatever, like that we've got on the desk there, to that. But the example behind me of our editing thing, that's a RAID enclosure that we've got on there. Behind me, there we go. It's a very nice one by Simply Spark. There we go. But I couldn't just add a cloud pod to that, I guess, could I? Because it would be RAID.
No, because
it wouldn't be recognised.
Because as you say, you've got the driver on the machine to recognise the RAID. Do you know what? It's something I haven't tried for a while. When the last time I tried it, it didn't, because as you say, you could plug that in via USB-C, but as you say, there's no kind of RAID driver on the pod for it to actually see it. So again, that's maybe something for us to have a look at if people did want to put a RAID system in. Is there?
I'm sure it will come up because I mean, it'd be useful here for a start. Got 16 terabytes of storage there. Okay, cool. That makes sense. But I mean, if you want to test that, I'm more than happy to.
We'll
plug one in and see what happens. Should we go through some questions and then we're about 10 minutes. We've run over by about 10 minutes, so let's wrap up. But let's go through some of these questions.
I'll show you some cool stuff with the syncing at the end as well, which is quite cool.
Martin says, I know we're talking about Cloud Store, but maybe you can pass on a software request. I'll just read this so that we get it on the record, and then we'll move on to the other questions for time. But can we get on a Hyperdeck Shuttle 4K Pro teleprompter text to display on the HDMI out mirror and on a local machine without a mirror? That is very specific.
I can ask the question. I kind of understand what you're saying.
Sure. I mean Hyperdeck.
Whenever it gets to live, I kind of just slowly step back from it.
Can get that. The Grey Vitone again has got a series of questions. Can we add new users over Ethernet, not only over the USB? So you had to plug in that USB-C cable in order to do that, but can you do it over the Ethernet because the Cloud Store is in a server room and the access is limited? So
no, not at the moment. As you saw with that, I had to plug in via USB-C to add the user in. Again, I suppose the thought process with that is, if you didn't have it over an Ethernet, could somebody just go into it and administer it themselves? And this is why, again, we've got the two administration system. So again, because if you think, you've got it in a server room, everybody's on it, you don't want to give people the ability to administer it over Ethernet. So because anybody could go in and go, I'm just going to put my own profile on here. That's why we've got the separate USB the USB authentication, because literally somebody has to go into the server room, plug it in, log them, kind of open up the admin settings themselves. And again, they'll have sign in for that. So again, it's kind of the reason, again, the way we've done it, it's a bit of a fail safe. So people can't, anybody who can see the network drive can't just log in and go, I can administer this over Ethernet.
Cool. He goes on to say, nonetheless, we still love the hardware, which is good. Grover Tony says, is there a way to use Hyperdeck Extreme or 8K files as the growing files, those with the red dot visible in Resolve, while the Hyperdeck are recording in cache mode?
Oh, you've got me there.
Yeah, he's asking some very... It says onto BMD Store Max. This is some very specific questions.
So, okay. So obviously, yes, the hyperdeck, if you're coming from camera, the hyperdeck wraps the file as a QuickTime file that goes onto the Cloud Store Max, so you can see it as a growing file.
Yeah.
Now, this is a question for my colleagues who are much more adept at hyperdeck than I am. Yeah, so you're basically saying if the hyperdeck's doing the encoding but the recording to the cache, can it do both at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Again, log that question. I know a man that will know the answer to that.
We know a man. Mason Pollock. So for ENG type work, using this for ingesting from photogs, once you pull it off of Blackmagic Cloud, would it work like a network project off of the Cloud Store, or would cloud projects be needed?
So cloud projects would be needed. So again, if you wanted to have a collaborative project.
Yeah, all of this we've talked about so far is just simple files.
It's just simple files. If you wanted to have an actual collaborative project, then yes, you would still need a project in the cloud. Now, again, as we said, is if you are on a network, you can have a local network. So you can work collaboratively on a local network. So that is, you can run it. I mean, we run it on we've got a little Raspberry Pi box you can even run it from. It doesn't require much. But we've got the project server set up. That's an app that you can download, put it on a system, put that system on the network, and basically your Resolve project libraries are stored on there. So again, if you're on a local network, you don't need a cloud project. But yeah, obviously, if you're working remotely, you still need a cloud project. You can share the files over the cloud stores in different ways, but you still need the project in the cloud.
But in their example of ingesting from photographers, you wouldn't necessarily need a project, would you? If you're just ingesting,
if you
can have one of those where you're just copying the files onto it and then going off to carry on working.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's even if you've got photographers. I mean, again, I can show you this. As you can see, the folder is empty here. So again, somebody could just log into the cloud folder that we have here and drop a file in. So again, let me go and I'm going to go and find something suitably small. I've got a graphics folder in here. So I've got a PNG file. So for example, this is a graphic. I simply drop this into the cloud folder in here. It'll upload. Ben won't shout at me because we're not going to crash the stream. So there's the PNG in the cloud. Now...
I'm glad the whole stream didn't crash because of one PNG. I like to think our network isn't that fragile.
It's not at all. I'm used to doing things like if we do a demo in a hotel. Like, I remember us first did this. James and I first did this. We did it in a hotel in Dubai. And it's the first ever cloud demo we did with really shonky Wi-Fi.
Into the deep end.
It was great fun.
Excellent.
So as you can see, that's sync there. So now, proof is in the pudding. If I go into my Cloud Store, if I actually go into the Cloud
we
Store,
did have a question from Igor saying, what does the workflow look like in DaVinci Resolve? So I guess this is ticking both boxes.
Yep, so there we go. So there's the PNG that is downloaded directly to my Cloud Store. I've not had to do anything. So again, if for ENG you've got photographers, they can just throw a load of stuff into the cloud interface through a web browser, and it'll just automatically download to your Cloud Store. So that's as you say, the seamless way. How it looks in Resolve, the Resolve workflow. Well, really, there isn't a Resolve workflow per se for sharing media because this file now actually sits. If I just dive into, where have you gone? Actually, let me just refresh this to make sure I've got the right folder in there. ProAV, here we go. So as you can see, this now sits as a folder on my drive. So I actually don't need to do anything with this because it's on my drive. The question I'm guessing is to go, well, if you're sharing media over a cloud store, but you want to work collaboratively in Resolve, how does that work? Because your cloud stores might be called different things. Or one of you might be Mac, one of you might be PC. So Mac, it's just a network mount point on a PC. It's like C drive, D drive, whatever. So the actual file path is going to be different. So how do you get around that? And there is a way of getting around this. And again, I know for the last cloud demo that we did, I noticed in the questions it had cropped up that people are going, if I've got a Resolve project library, so we've got a collaborative project, but the media is totally separate, how do we work like that? And it's in the cloud projects. You've got something called path mapping. So, for example, I have my media on my cloud store now. So it's uploaded to the cloud, download it onto my cloud store. So it's on Simon's 8 terabyte drive. But I might be in a Resolve project where your file path is Carl's Cloud Pod or Cloud Store.
Cloud Pod, yeah.
Cloud Card Pod. Yeah. So to avoid so again, the media might be online in my cloud project, but on yours, you're looking at your cloud store, but the file path's wrong. So you go, I'll relink on mine, and then on my end, it goes offline. And this is where the project media locations come in.
That could get pretty frustrating pretty quickly, couldn't it?
Exactly. But the way around this, and this is one of these...
piss off your colleagues one-on-one.
Yeah, it's just keep knocking their media offline. But this is again, this is one of these little hidden gems of Cloud Store that James and I, when we were last here, didn't go into. Is I could say, right, my location on my system is Simon 8 terabyte ProAV demo. Now, because we sync the media over the Cloud Store, you've probably got a folder called ProAV demo. So on my system, it's like this. Now, if you open the path mapping on your system, you would go, okay, that's Simon's location. But when you see this file path,
point to this file path.
Point to this file path. And that's the way you get around that. Yeah. So again, you can sort of use the Cloud Store totally separately. Again, if you don't have a Cloud Store at one end, and you need to download media for a project, something that we introduced in Resolve 20 is import Blackmagic Cloud folder. So again, I can say, go and get that ProAV folder.
And these can be watch folders.
These can be watch folders as well,
auto-update.
And the download location, I'll stick it on the desktop. Ooh, did I put it on the desktop before? So I'll put it on the desktop. And I can say download. So now I've got that folder with the PNG file that's already downloaded to my machine. Yeah. So again, there's multiple different workflows to cloud, but the cloud stores are brilliant because you don't have to have Resolve open. It's the syncing. And sorry, the last thing, I know we've run over, haven't we? I always do this. I always talk too much.
I don't think it's so much that you talk so much. It's just that everything you talk about is very complicated and it takes a while to explain.
I know, because one of the cool things I really did want to show you, what I'm going to do
is that, absolutely.
The cloud,
there is actually a camera to cloud question that Hakon asked right at the beginning, which he's just put a little reminder for, which is very similar. So you're about to show us the phone workflow going up to it. The question that he asked before we even began talking was, I assume you'll talk about camera to cloud on Blackmagic Cloud. Will it be possible to use the video assist as a camera feed? That way any camera can be used like Atomos does. And I know that's a future product kind of firmware question, so I imagine you can't talk about anything. So it can't do it right now, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways you can do that, but it requires steps in the process. So you would need in that process, if you wanted to go from basically any camera up to Blackmagic Cloud, you would need a camera and a hyperdeck. So the camera goes SDI into your hyperdeck and a Cloud Store as well. So you'd need 3-bit. Yeah, you'd need 2 bits of kit. You'd need a hyperdeck and a Cloud Store.
Okay.
Because basically what would happen is if you want kind of the real-time live capture as well, the hyperdeck is basically taking the files off a camera and wrapping them. And then those files are being stored on the Cloud Store that is then doing the syncing. Yeah. So we do have steps of hardware. There is a hardware process.
But it's not the video assist.
Yeah, it's not on the video assist.
I think what he's picturing, which I completely agree, I think that's probably in all of this Blackmagic Cloud stuff, my most requested thing as well, is can I just have an on-camera monitor like the video assist, which is just, I can put it on a Sony camera, a Canon camera, whatever, and it will just automatically be uploading all my files in the background, up to all of this nice Blackmagic Cloud stuff that we've just been talking about.
Yeah, this has been a big feature request, especially as you say of the
like he says, Atomos are able to do it, but weirdly they've sort of got the other problem where they haven't got all of this other stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But the on-camera monitors can do it really well. But whereas you haven't got the on-camera monitors that can do it, but all the other stuff is in a really good place.
Yeah.
But
so again, no, we'll get there. We're good at joining it eventually because we're the only company that kind of does the end-to-end workflow. So we're good at joining the dots. We'll get there eventually.
And when you're on a Blackmagic camera, it works seamlessly.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, having it on a video assist would be a fantastic workflow.
Yeah. So again, what I will do is I will show you this just with our phone app. So what I'm going to do is see if I can do a new screen recording with this. Come on, QuickTime. Oh, actually, no, I want a new movie recording. What I'm going to try and do is get my phone interface on here. It's being a bit of a pain at the moment. Come on,
while
QuickTime.
you're doing that, Igor has asked which protocol is better, SMP or NFS, added in version 1.8. By better, they mean more efficient, faster, and more responsive. Is that a quick answer? Which one of those is
I could give
faster?
NFS is faster. It's faster, slightly faster, but it's faster. The downside is it is more complex to set up.
That makes sense.
This is really annoying. My phone is, I'm trying to get my phone screen to appear in QuickTime. And it's kind of not doing what I want to at the moment. I think maybe it's this cable. Let me just swap the cable out and try a different cable.
Joys of USB-C cables.
Yeah, the joys of USB-C. And
it got too complicated.
And admittedly, my phone's being a little bit fussy at the moment about what it's connecting to.
Fishing for work to buy him a new phone, aren't
they? I may or may not need a 17 Max, seeing as it does ProRes RAW now, and we support ProRes RAW and Resolve. I'm just putting that out there. Let's see if sorry guys, I'll see if I can get this working. Come on. Hey, there we go. No, it's QuickTime is being a real pain at the moment. There we go.
Gray has put in a question for us. What's the app for adding those comments into the live stream? What are we using, Ben? We're using a plugin that's made by a YouTuber, actually, I think. It's the Aaron Parecki one.
Yeah, the live chat.
Yeah, Aaron Parecki's live chat overlay, and it works well.
We're going to go all Inception in a minute because I'm going to go in. I just felt I won't move my phone too far because I'll just film now I'm looking at it in these lights, my incredibly dirty keyboard. I can only apologise. So this is our phone app, but again, all of our cameras work the same way when it comes to connecting to cloud. So again, if I just go into my cloud, I'm signed into my cloud account on the phone app.
So for clarification, this is all just in the Blackmagic app. You do not need to connect this to a computer. You've just done this so that we can see it on the stream.
Absolutely, yeah. So just to clarify that, I've just
all
done
of that faffing around just then was so that we can see it on the stream, not part of the camera to cloud workflow.
No, it's not. You said you can do this. It just uses the 5G on your phone to upload. So again, you can see there's the ProAV PM folder. And at the moment, there's nothing in it because, again, the phone isn't going to recognize PNG files and everything else. This is strictly for me shooting to the cloud. But this is where, if you're doing ENG stuff, if you've got a lot of... you're doing like fashion shows is a prime example. You've got loads and loads of people shooting on phones and you just need the information dumped onto a drive really quickly. Again, this is where the Cloud Store comes in really useful. So I can select that folder. I'm going to go into my camera here and it is working really slowly. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to do a really badly out of focus video, but I just want to show you. I think it's my connection that's really bad, but I'm just going to stop that. Ooh. So the media here, can you see the media here? It's done a proxy file and it has uploaded. So you can see there's a little cloud icon in there. Now, if I hide this, I am really hoping what should happen if I go into my Cloud Store. There's a file. I think, yeah. Sorry, guys. I think the USB-C connection on my phone is close to breaking. But that just gives you an idea. So what I did there is I used the phone app, and all our cameras work the same way.
Well, that's the interesting part. So actually, Mason has put a question in, which I think would be a really nice one to finish this all off and round it all up. He says, and I guess for clarification, there is excitement about the Ursa Broadcast G2 straight to cloud, but I'm not sure about the intended workflow for a team of local editors to then process that for a show. And so that would work exactly the same as this, right? You know, the cameras would be working, and as long as the cameras are connected to the internet in some way, be it Wi-Fi, be it a phone tethering, be it an Ethernet cable, then they can be uploading in the background in the exact same way as your phone just did. And then they can either be dropping straight onto a cloud store, because they would get synced to a folder that is living on your cloud storage. And then you can have a Cloud Store Mini or anything like that replicating that folder, or you can just have a DaVinci Resolve accessing it and downloading it onto a laptop straight from Blackmagic Cloud. So there are several workflows that you could do, but the benefit of going for a hardware approach like the Cloud Store Mini is that it can just be doing that in the background, rather than you have to go onto your laptop, boot up Resolve, and then wait for it to download everything that has been shot in the meantime since you last opened it. By having hardware, it can just always be on and be keeping up to sync. So as soon as you're ready to start editing, it's straight away there.
Absolutely.
And ready to go.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's just, as you say, that extra step that, as you say, and again, if you're doing ENG stuff and you've got multiple cameramen, you just give them all one folder and they do it to that. Again, and as you say, is with that as well, is from your end as well, if you sort of have a Resolve project, you can't have multiple Resolve. Well, you can have multiple Resolve projects open and on the same machine, but for the files to download, that project's got to be front and center. When you toggle to a different project, it'll stop the download. So you can't. Well, no, because if you're doing it through cloud, you can only have one project open at a time anyway. Even I'm now thinking of steps in the workflow. So again, if you've got kind of multiple streams coming in, multiple sources, and you want to administer it a bit better.
It's definitely, since we've been using this for sort of editing at home and all that kind of stuff, this cloud workflow bit, we do not have any cloud stores at the moment. And that is the one main point of frustration with it all. It all works seamlessly. The annoying thing is that you have to open up Resolve half an hour before you want to actually be editing, because it's got to download, especially if you've got a slightly slower internet connection at home. And that's the one frustration, which Cloud Store is the device that solves it.
And it's great for, I mean, I have it when, like for NAB, when we have content for NAB, we have to send it over to Singapore and the US. And if it comes through me, I have to kind of go, right, I need to leave a Resolve system running. And then I've got to do like 3 terabytes. And the media I have to share is across different projects. So normally, as you say, what I want to do for 3 terabytes, I just want to go, no. All these folders, just leave them running over a weekend and just do them all. Whereas if it's not like that, I've got to do, right, this Resolve project, all the media in that, wait for it to upload. Then go back on Saturday afternoon and go, right, this Resolve project, upload. Then this Resolve project. Whereas with this, I just go, no, folder, DRAs in them all, upload. As you say, plug it directly into my router at home. Done. So that's the cloud element to it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Good.
Fantastic. Okay, I think we're out of questions. Hopefully that was useful for people watching at home. But thank you so much for your time running through all of that.
As always, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And of course, the entire point of this, not only to talk about Cloud Store, but was to talk about these Blackmagic. In fact, have you still got the web page open on your computer there, Simon? Is that Blackmagic is currently running a promotion. I can't remember exactly how long the promotion is going to last, but it's live right now, where they've built these bundles and you get a really generous saving on each one. It actually works out to be an equal amount of money across all of them, pretty much, about £500 ex VAT, but it's 30% off of end one there, 25% off in the middle, and 15% off on the end one of the total value. But yeah, it's so each one includes a cloud store, a control panel of some description, and a playout device of some description. Normally, apart from the end one, which is the most basic and the stripped down one.
Collaboration between a pod and a cloud. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, if you're interested in the bundles and you're interested in buying any of this stuff, of course, head over to ProAV where all of that is. But yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks a lot, guys.
I'll see you soon.